Dealerships love to sell you extended warranties, but are they worth it? Let's talk about the truth. Look, warranties equal peace of mind under the right context, okay? They're not an investment though, and listen, they cost money. So it's like insurance, right? It's literally an insurance policy if something goes wrong, but it's not an end all fix everything. It's not a fix all, is what I'm trying to say. The biggest problem about them is that they're overpriced and they usually bundle them where you're paying interest on this insurance, which is bad idea to pay insurance through an interest-based loan. So the real question on this particular one is peace of mind really worth the money? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, and you have to have the right product. So look, I've bought many of them myself, and you'd think that I wouldn't, or I would, or I would, I know what I'm doing, and I do. I've negotiated the deals. I always got great prices with zero interest payments. But at the end of the day, I bought all of them and never used them. And literally, I must have paid over $20,000 in my life. I've had a lot of cars and they were never really worth it to me. I always bought good Japanese cars and or very reliable cars. Things just didn't break. All right, so the big thing right now in the modern age, it's really not the engines. The engines are pretty good overall, right? In a lot of these different brands. The problem is it's the technology that breaks. Sometimes a simple screen frying after your warranty could be $4,000, $5,000. Do you have that to pay, or are you willing to have a blank screen in your car? Not only do you have a blank screen now, but your heating, your cooling, your seats, and other things, many times, if not all the time, are connected to that screen. The car becomes useless. Okay, so here's some real world application. If you have a new car and you don't do a ton of miles, 10,000 or less miles per year, then you really probably don't need it. Most people sell their cars between 90,000 and 100,000 miles. Nothing really happens to them. Now I'm going to get some hate saying, "Oh, you crazy, cars break all the time." That is simply not true. So if you're using used cars and you do a lot of miles and there's technology in there, you might want to consider an affordable, well negotiated, well shopped warranty and make sure that it covers the things it needs to cover. So at the end of the day, it's about your risk tolerance. Can you pay for a $2,000 repair and not really blink an eye? Good for you. If you can do that, do you really put it, do you really need that kind of warranty? But if a $2,000 repair would choke you, sometimes it does make sense to finance it and roll it into your payment. That way you're protected. So you got to make sure you know who you are and what your risk tolerance is. So look, car warranties, extended car warranties are not a scam. They're an insurance policy. So remember, they're not guaranteed savings. They're just peace of mind. And sometimes they make sense. Sometimes they don't. I know it's complicated, but you got to know who you are, what you drive, and how many miles you put on, plus all the tech in your car. So listen, save this video. You're going to need it and share it to help others. We need to share the message so we become very informed consumers. By the way, I'm Chase. My company DealGuard shares all our tips. We negotiate cars for a living. So just save everything so you have all our tips. We'll see you in the next